Air. It's way too early for the fake. This that real game for real bros. No decaf, no cap. Welcome to Shogun Bros, no decaf. Live every weekday, 6:30 in the morning, Central Time. Did you hear what I said? Central Time. We talk dogs, bloodline building to yard work, from stud talk to the truth behind the pups. This ain't no highlight reel. It's how you really build legacy. Shogun Bros, no decaf. Pull up, pull up, handle yours. This ain't just content. It's culture. Welcome to the Cookout with Toyo, where family vibes meet front porch truth. No scripts, no filters, just heart, heat, and hot plates. Ooh. Step up with elevated perspective, with elevated game for grown men and women building mind, spirit, and vision. And men at work with pimps over simps. Choice. Real convos, no cap, all purpose for the men behind the mission. 3 shows, 1 network, all gas, no decaf. Put no creamer in my man. Look, Shogun Unlimited, man. Press play and get, man. Come on, press play, press play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We in here on a Saturday. Shout out Wes Walker. What's up, bro? We're gonna let a couple people get in here before I really start cooking on it. I can't see how many's in here. But we're gonna break down the DNA sequence, like the double helix, the triple helix, the things that make them up, how they can be, how it can affect the dog you're seeing, on multiple different levels. That's what we're gonna go into today. So basically, like, your dog's built on a DNA structure, right? A DNA sequence. And that DNA sequence varies and can change throughout its life. It can deteriorate parts of it, all kinds of stuff. So there's a bunch of different factors. And the dog that you have at 10 weeks and a year is totally different than the dog you might have at 12 years old. We're going to go into it a little more now. All right. DNA's double helix is a marvel of biological engineering, and in dogs, it carries all the genetic instructions that determine traits like coat color, size, temperament, and even predisposition to certain health conditions. The structure consists of 2 long strands twisted around each other, forming the famous helical shape. Each strand is made up of a backbone of sugar and phosphate molecules with nitrogenous bases, adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, pairing up to hold the strands together. So that's the 4 bases that your DNA structure, they can break it down and take them factors and figure out what, genetic markers you carry. That's the marker. So dogs, like all mammals, inherit genetic material from both parents, meaning their DNA contains a mixture of maternal and paternal contributions. Interestingly, selective breeding has led to genetic variations across different breeds, making canine DNA an area of intense study. Researchers investigate genetic markers that relate to breed-specific health risks, behavioral traits, and even ancient ancestry. Dog DNA, like that of most organisms, primarily exists in a double helix structure, following the Watson-Crick base pairing model. However, triple helix DNA is an unusual formation that can occur under specific conditions. Dog DNA structure. Basic composition. Dog DNA consists of nucleotides made up of a sugar, deoxyribose, phosphate group, and nitrogenous bases. Double helix formation. The 2 strands are held together by hydrogen bonds between complementary bases A, T, C, and G. So they bond together, they can link up, and that's what holds the 2 strands, the maternal and paternal, together. Genetic information. DNA encodes proteins that determine traits, including coat color, size, and breed specific characteristics. The rare case, the triple helix. The triple helix DNA. Formation of a third strand binds to the major groove of a double stranded DNA molecule via Hoogsteen base pairing. So basically, it connects at the top of the beginning of your DNA sequence and twists inside of the twist and hooks back to the bottom pairing, first pair of the end of your DNA sequence in the dog. So types, there's intermolecular, a separate strand binds to an existing DNA duplex. There's intramolecular, a loop within the same DNA strand folds back and binds. So it's not modified, it is that. So stability factors. Triple helix is stabilized under acidic conditions and in the presence of divalent cautions like magnesium. So biological significance. Gene regulation. Some studies suggest triple helix structure may play a role in gene expression. Biotechnology applications used in gene targeting and genetic engineering. So, like, for example, the direwolf, right? They took and added that triple helix in there and put the DNA they wanted it to affect. You know what I'm saying? That way they could stretch that DNA from the top strand to the bottom, from my understanding. So, while triple helix DNA is not a standard feature of dog genetics, it is an intriguing structure with potential applications in biomedical research. If you're interested in how this might relate, you can really do some research. Like, that's how I found out about they messing with it with the direwolf. I got to looking into triple helix and it brought it up itself. So, like, if you look up some of certain things, it can attach. Your knowledge can grow from one subject to another, like the rabbit hole we talk about quite often. So, genetic modification involves altering DNA sequences to produce change in traits, often for scientific, medical, or agricultural purposes. One example is gene editing in dogs, where researchers modify specific genes to address inherited diseases or enhance desired physical traits. Yeah, like that's all they're doing is modifying these genetic DNA sequences, and then they're making it multiply. You know what I mean? Whatever they put it back in, DNA usually copies itself, so it just it's copying itself over. It turns into that. For instance, some scientists explore CRISPR technology. It's an acronym to remove genetic mutations causing disorders like muscular dystrophy in certain dog breeds. This technique involves precisely cutting DNA and replacing faulty sequences with corrected versions, potentially leading to healthier animals. Yeah, so they take a dog's DNA that don't have the issue that they're trying to fix in it, in its DNA sequence. They've checked it for maybe a couple generations. They take that little section, copy it, modify the other dog. They identify the section where it is the problem, like hip dysplasia or any of these disorders, and they target that and put it in there, and it creates the modification. And if you think we ain't been doing modifications for a long time, look into tomatoes, bananas, carrots, all this stuff. So we've been doing it for a long, long time, you know what I mean? And even through breeding, like, you may not have a lab coat, but you are still doing some of these things on a small scale, you know what I mean? It'll take you a little longer to get it done, but that's slowly over time, that's what you're doing. So modifying DNA, especially in animals like dogs, raises several ethical concerns. Here are some key considerations. So this is like things that could be, a problem in our society in the future. So health and welfare. Genetic modifications could introduce unintended health problems, either by disrupting natural biological processes or increasing subsequent ability to diseases. This raises concerns about whether animals are being harmed in pursuit of desired traits. Yeah, which would even be the traits of them not having a genetic disorder. Genetic diversity. Selective gene editing can reduce genetic diversity, leading to weaker populations more vulnerable to inherited diseases. This is particularly relevant in purebred dogs, where genetic bottlenecks already exist. So, see, if you take a dog, like we could do it with Urbreed more than, say, um, they could do it with a Jack Russell or Boston Terrier or a Golden Retriever, you know what I mean? Because their gene pool is so small, you only get like 4 or 5 colors of each of those dogs, you know what I mean? We get a bunch. So we could do it a little more, and even make our pit bull a little more pit bull by doing that if we wanted to, you know what I mean? So like that is one thing that it could be used for. So we just gotta pay attention to what these guys are doing with it, and when they're doing something wrong, we need to speak up. So animal rights. Some argue that modifying an animal's DNA for human benefit disregards its anatomy. If genetic edits cause suffering or unintended consequences, it raises questions about the ethics of using animals as experimental subjects. Or even once it's not experimental. So, like, we should mainly focus on fixing genetic disorders instead of making them look a certain way. You know what I mean? And that way people don't just target like, oh, I want this look. Kind of like they've done with the fluffy gene in the American Bully recently. Um, Unintended consequences. Change to DNA could have unforeseen effects that might only emerge generations later. Once genetic modifications enter a population, reversing them is challenging. Yeah, like once you change it, it's hard to change it back. But breed identity and natural evolution. If widespread genetic modifications occur, traditional breeds could be altered beyond recognition, potentially impacting cultural and historical perceptions of certain animals. Look at the miniature or the English Bull Terrier. They've done that over a long period of time by breeding it. You know what I mean? They're still modifying these genes. Whether people wants to see it or not, that is what they're doing. They have modified the genes, the actual DNA sequence of the dog, to have that more egg, rounded out shaped head, like the typical, English Bull Terrier head. 100 years ago, they didn't look so much like that. 200 years ago, they didn't look nothing like they look today. 300 years ago, it was an unrecognizable dog, other than they both have white coats primarily. So, slippery slope to designer traits. While some genetic modifications aim to prevent diseases, the ability to edit DNA could lead to people seeking designer dogs with enhanced physical abilities or special aesthetic traits, shifting focus away from ethical procedures and practices. Yeah, so like as we're doing this stuff, we just got to think about like once we're doing these breedings, how is that modifying the actual dog's DNA over a longer period of time? You know what I mean? Like that is a factor. Like for example, I've used my Mason blood to bring my Medusa dog's genetics back. I haven't targeted necessarily Mason's blood. You know what I mean? Or I would have kept every red-nosed buckskin or red dog. I would have and bred them all together. That just ain't what I wanted. You know what I mean? I kind of have a little bit broader thought of it than this. In a few years, like I got a buddy that has primarily a bunch of my dark genetic dogs. I'll be able to use his dogs as an out on my yard. And I already have some of his dogs that are bred into my yard. He made a breeding off of Kaiser and Harley, and I have 2 daughters off of that. And both of them are about that. One has puppies already, and the other one's about to any day now. So, blending and keeping moving forward is very, very important. Like you need individuals to do that. You know what I mean? You need to have enough genetic diversity where you can see yourself past the next 5 years. Like I could breed for probably the next 10, 15 years without ever going out again. I have my outs. I wouldn't need to. I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? I'm going to introduce one here soon for intended science practice. We're going to see what happens. So like sometimes, you do gotta play with the genes a little bit, do certain things like inbreeding, heavy line breeding, or even outcrossing. All 3 of those right there are our way to genetically modify the DNA. You know what I mean? Every breeding we do, the DNA sequence is different. So, and I know that some guys don't think like that because the way they talk to me, and I can tell. So like, whenever you're doing this stuff, that's why the old guys would tell you each individual in the pedigree mattered and where they're at mattered. Like I've heard that from old guys, and I'm like, that makes sense. Like you want certain ones on the bottom and you want certain ones on the top for different reasons. and stuff like that. And like when I was young, I used to hear them say all this shit, or like, oh, red boy dogs bark a lot and stuff. And I was like, how the hell they know that all red boy dogs bark a lot? You know what I mean? But then now, 10, 15 years later, I'm like, okay, the red boy dogs bark a lot. Like, they were right. Everything they ever said was right. LaQuentin, what's up, brother? Samurai, RBG, Lone Wolf, Lil J, what's up? Yes, sir.
We
Wes
got
Walker.
everybody in here. What's happening?
Oh, what's up, Spring?
Man, shit just got done walking fade, man. Irritated because motherfuckers like to walk their dogs without a leash and shit. And
Yeah.
instead of wanting to get on some bullshit and think negatively about it, I think I'm gonna start stocking up on some cheap ass leashes and shit like that. And every time I
Here
see
you
some,
go.
and they look like some homeless motherfuckers too. So, and I ain't the type to judge nobody because shit, Mother Nature come through, we all could be homeless.
Yeah.
So I'm motherfuckers like that, and I'm finna go grab some more of that Welsh Kennels Combine medicine. I'm gonna keep some of that in my trunk too. So the next time I see a homeless motherfucker walk past me with no leash, I'm gonna be like, look, man, follow me to my trunk. I'm gonna give their
I
ass a
got you.
leash, and I'm gonna get their ass a month worth of medicine. Look,
Yeah,
deworm this motherfucker, and I'm gonna walk off.
yeah, yeah. In my area, the homeless people have some of the best looking bulldogs I've ever seen.
Yeah, they be looking good. The dogs be looking. Lone Wolf, what's up, bro? What's happening, man?
it's usually the like little like nice dressed dude with the little chain on his wrist and shit that his dog looks like hell, but then the homeless dude's dog will look great. It's like, how do you not notice that? You know what I mean? How do they not like? But I think it's literally because people don't have other dogs to compare their dog to. They're standing there looking at him, they're like, he looks good, you know. And then you stand him next to two or three other dogs, and you're like, wow, this dog looks like shit as
Yeah,
far
that
as his condition.
motherfuckers do be looking good. I give it to them, but they ass don't like to follow the law. Put a
Yeah,
leash on
no,
that
yeah,
motherfucker, man.
nah,
'Cause
hell,
you
if
gonna
they're
be
gonna squat on
upset.
somebody's property, they ain't gonna put a leash on their dog. Shit like that. I agree.
They gonna be mad as hell. Some shit go down. They gonna be wanting to fight a motherfucker.
Yep, yep. I don't know. Like that's one thing I have a problem with. I don't think that none of these bull dogs should really run around just off leash. You know what I mean? Ones that have a reliable recall, I guess you're fine. You know, if they see another dog and you actually know for a fact you can recall them, I guess that's different. Uh, what's your opinion on people walking them with shotgun collars?
Shit, I ain't got no knowledge of no shot collar, so I really can't.
So I've
I
seen
really.
people out walking their dog with a shotgun collar on, and technically, by law, they're tethered. Like you have a leash on them because you have a command. You can give them, you know, if they're used to it, that by law technically they're tethered. But so in my area, I don't know if that goes for everywhere, but in my area, by law, they're technically tethered. But I've seen people walking them around the lake, and like another dog come and them call them back over, and them actually come over and heel beside them. And I'm like, okay, I guess I don't have a problem with that. But like,
Well,
if
well,
you're letting your golden retriever just run,
depending on the area, then I guess it really ain't that big of a deal. Because if you like, if we was at the bottom of Tennessee and Memphis down there in Mississippi,
yeah,
and the land there wasn't, the, I guess it's cool shit. But if you somewhere like on a bike trail where you got
yeah,
people outside jogging, people outside on bikes, uh, I see people who when I'm walking my dog and I see people walking their dog and I see people jogging past, they be ahead of me. I see them having to goddamn it stranglehold their dog to the side so people can get past. Faye be pulling me and I just let her continue pulling me through the traffic. She don't be paying nobody no attention. You
yeah.
cannot have your dog off his leash when you got shit like that going on,
And
like fucking jam, a fucking traffic jam like that.
then the famous last words of somebody letting their dogs run loose. Oh, Wiggles is sweet. Yeah, well, this one ain't sweet. You better get that motherfucker. You know what I
Man,
mean?
for real.
That happened to me not long ago when I was walking up the road. I was live and everything, but it didn't catch it. It didn't catch it. For some reason, I had a glitch or something. It ended up deleting half of my live. But yeah, this lady like literally squatted down trying to walk her dog straight up to Judge. And like Judge is vicious, bro. Contact, it's on site. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I was like, lady. She was like, oh, he's sweet. I said, yeah, well, he's not. You better get him. I hate that. And like the feeling I have after that altercation, I cannot stand that. I cannot stand feeling like that, you know? Like, oh shit, almost went south right before my eyes. I hate that feeling.
Well,
So,
I hate for that shit to happen right before a confirmation show.
yeah, for real. Yep.
Straight up, bro.
I'm telling you, that's in my area. There's a lot of people that's like, I don't know if you've ever looked into like the culture of Asheville, but like you ought to look into the culture of Asheville, and you'll see what kind of people that's here and like that are starting to come to my town, because we're like 30 minutes from Asheville now. So like people started to buy houses over here, and they'll drive to work and stuff, which I absolutely hate. Go back where you came from, but. Especially, if you're fine to be here. Just don't try to change the way we live.
Yeah. Now you come somewhere where it's been like how it's been, and you trying to change some shit up.
Yep.
I hate that shit. You'll see a new motherfucker at the town hall meeting with some new shit. You be like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? What the fuck, you stupid ugly motherfucker?
You were to have to live in a place for like 10 years before you can even speak at the town hall meetings or anything like that. You were to have to be a resident there for a long, not a back and forther. You know what I mean? You were to have to prove you're a full-time resident here before they even let you have the microphone. Yes, exactly. Work here, everything. You know, especially small towns.
I go in that bitch like, motherfucker, I done did time in this bitch. I live here, I work here.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my hometown, where I'm from. Like, I don't know, that shit, I mean, it bothers me here because my family been here for so long. It's like, bro, I'm like literally, my family's part of the original people that settled here. And then you want to fucking try to tell me what to do. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, if I'm going to listen to that shit. These mountains were ours before they were, you know what I mean? We lived right with the Cherokee. Like, all the Cherokee, there's a lot of Irish blood in the Cherokee. Some of it. Because, I mean, they all live together right here, you know?
What's the topic of the conversation?
I was talking about like the DNA molecules and stuff like that, just breaking that down a little bit. Tomorrow I'm gonna go a little more in depth on other stuff, you know, that has related to that. I'm just gonna let these episodes start playing into each other and keep them going.
Oh yeah.
We just bringing down every aspect, starting from the bottom and going up. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
I was talking about how like the breedings you do is genetic modification. You are altering the DNA sequence of these dogs. You know what I mean? Even if people don't think about it that way, that is what you're doing. Like, say you breed Faye, then puppies off of her, totally different. You know, they're half her DNA sequence, half whatever you added. You altered the DNA sequence. So, I mean, we just got to have that kind of thing in mind whenever we're doing some of this stuff. Like, make sure these dogs don't have no genetic disorders and shit. All that kind of stuff. Because that'll, once you get a heart problem in your dogs or a breathing problem, it's damn near impossible to get rid of it. You have to fully wash the blood multiple times before you can get rid of something like that.
Yeah,
that's why
anybody want to go through right there.
Yep. That's why when I picked Dirty Girl, I picked her from where I got her from. There was plenty of time I'd been watching them dogs. I'd seen them. You know what I mean? I talked to them multiple times. So like, I was like, when they said a female's for sale, I was like, hell yeah, I'll be there to get it in 2 days. Got you. Sent him the money and I went and got her. And like, I don't send people money. You know what I mean? I'm really not into that. Like, if it was it just depends on who it is. You know what I'm saying? So like, I sent him the money. Like, I was like, hell yeah, you know, because I know they hardly ever sell dogs. Her daddy had passed away in a yard accident, so like, I'm getting the last daughter that's for sale off of him. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm 100% down. And like, through breeding Mason and his son Jarvis to her, I get the same thing every time. It seems like the first litter I got like, I think 6 buckskins and a brindle, and out of this litter I got 2 brindles and 4 buckskins. So like, I got the same thing out of breeding to her no matter what. That like, she threw, and like, her daddy's a black dog. Her mama looks just like her buckskin dog, but her daddy's a black dog. So like, it's really you know what I mean? It's really unpredictable. So I'm excited. You know, I like what I've seen off of them dogs so far. They're gonna play a pretty important role in the future.
Right.
But I had to see when I did that, like I kind of already suspected that, so I had went 3 times with all these Mason dogs. My 2 litters or my 3 litters I got, the one off of Jarvis and Vixen, the one off of Mason to Eleanor, and the one off of Jarvis to Mercy are all triple bred Mason dogs through different breeding practices. Mason to Eleanor is Mason back to his granddaughter, and he's her grandpa, top and bottom. So I took him back to his granddaughter, and that made him triple bred on Mason. You know what I mean? 3 times
Right.
Mason in 4 generations is the way I consider it. But then, say I took, and that was 100% line breeding. Daniel took Kaiser and Harley and bred them 2 together, and produced Eleanor and Mercy. So that was a line breeding.
You did a little bit of breeding over there, huh?
Yeah, so that was a line breeding, and I took Mason back to her. That made it even further line breeding, but with a back cross is what I call it. I don't know if that's a real trait or a real thing, but I call it a back cross. Stepping back to old blood that's back further in the pedigree, which would be Mason, and just brought that more to the front. Then I took Jarvis to Mercy, so Jarvis is off of Mason to Medusa. Mercy is off of Kaiser, which is off of Mason and Carson, and Harley, which is off of Mason and Medusa. So I back crossed with him again too. You know what I mean? I stepped back to their grandma's brother, you know?
Right.
So that I did that. And then I bred Judge to Vixen, and Judge is off of Mason and Rogue. Rogue is off of Mason and Medusa. And I bred Judge back to Vixen, which is off of Mason and Medusa. So like all 3 of these breedings are heavy Mason and Medusa breeding.
Right.
My main foundation for my yard. That's why I did that. So I could, when I take it back to my outcross, I don't lose the traits of my dogs. Because the outcross, I mean, she's an outcross dog, but she still throws her traits really hard. So, I mean, that's kind of a little bit of a factor people got to take into it too. Like, we can breed dogs, but like in the future, you also got to have yourself set up for dogs that are bred to produce too. You don't just need working dogs; you need producing dogs so you can keep working dogs around.
Yeah. You ain't lying.
Yep, I mean that's the only way to do it.
You have a specimen that ain't throwing shit. You be mad. Be mad when it's gone. You could have put another one right out there behind it.
Yep. And a lot of the time they'll take a special one and they won't even breed it back into the family. Like that's what I would do. That's what old guys did back in the day. When they found good ones, they bred it back into the family. Either side, top or bottom, just depending on what you needed. So
yeah.
Like there's a fella getting a couple of my puppies, and we were talking, and he had some of the same shit back in the day. And then he would go to talking about them, and I'm like, I just started asking questions. Are they like this? And he was like, yep. I'm like, were they like this? He was like, yep. I'm like, did they do this? He was like, yep. I'm like, hell, you're getting the same shit. As far as the way they act, you're getting the exact same dogs you had in late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good shit right there.
Yeah, so it was really cool. Like, I mean, I hadn't ever talked to nobody that really had that much so similar to my dogs. And everything he said was to a T to my shit. Everything. Their style, the way they act around their food, all this stuff. The way they are with kids. So.
Yeah. Tony Melee, what up? Quick.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I figured outcross first so I could do the heavy line breed later on down the line.
Yep. And see, so that's where you got to look at how your bitch is bred. She's pretty top bred, right? Faye?
On the top side, she is.
Yeah. Okay. So she's an outcross bitch.
Yeah, she top side Maverick, full Maverick, and then the bottom side is some more. It's some more E-line through Earl Jr. and then there's some banjo in there on top of some old family red nose.
Okay. So Mason, he's an outcross dog, right? He's the top part's out, the bottom part is double bred on my mom's Roscoe dog. I bred him to Medusa, which was an outcross. You know what I mean? That's what I built my foundation on, was an outcross. And then I've taken it tighter, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just depending on which way it can go. I knew that them heavy Jocko dogs, you can breed them pretty tight, from what I understand, and it won't make them. It don't ruin them. I don't understand why there's not more Jocko sources. To be honest with you, a lot of Red Boy, but there's not a lot of Jocko sources, from my understanding. If there is, point them out in the chat, because I'll look into them. I know a lot of bloods and a lot of dogs, so but that's one thing I don't see on a high percentage is the Jocko blood. Like, not a lot of people has it in different ways. Same as like I think it's the Corvino stuff. They have it, but it's always in different ways. So, I don't know. I'm also about we have a bitch that's the Bush and Bark shit on top and the Pepe El Toro stuff on the bottom, and she's about to be up here when Throwback comes to pick up his pup. I'm actually trading him a pup off of my breeding for her, so I can have one more outcross of similar shit. Eli, the Eli Carver, all that stuff, similar shit. It's out already, so.
Yeah, fuck. I'm looking at. Yeah, it seems like if you really look at the old family, Red Nose is pretty much just really her out.
Yeah.
They're there, so I'm gonna breed it to a heavy bull junior of that Tyke Kennels bull.
Yeah.
And shit, I'll fuck shit. I might
Hell
breed
yeah.
her back to her son. Shit, it's whatever, really. Shit.
If you can find a brother of that dog that you're gonna breed her to, take a bitch off that and breed it back to that brother, and then you can move forward whatever way you want to go with it. That way you lock in both sides of their DNA. You know what I mean? They can throw one. They can kind of be. Their whole blood, and each individual is only throwing a small fraction of it, right? In certain instances. So by going back to two brothers, or like I've bred sisters to stuff, I bred dad to son to the same bitch. You know what I mean? Taking it like that, you can lock your dogs in that way. You won't lose Faye. You know what I mean? Necessarily.
know. Faye's brother is a couple hours away from me. Her little maid brother. So I was gonna take a female.
Yes.
Off that Red Boy Bully Boomstone breeding, and take the female off of that and breed it back to her brother. So that'd be like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You'd be Faye at the bottom, her
Yes,
brother at
sir.
the top, with that in the bottom, with that in the middle.
Yep. And Tom says you want Eli on both sides of the pedigree to see high success.
Yeah, Eli,
That's
and I want that pure Red Boy Jogger Boy Tombstone right in that goddamn middle.
Yep. Well, and so if I continue pedigrees, that's a practice that a lot of people are using today. That right there, that breeding them two bloods specifically in that kind of way together.
And then I'm slapping that fat bill right on top of all that shit. So I got a game plan. This is coach. It's goddamn we coaching for the finals. I just the plan. The only person that's only thing that's gonna fail the plan is the man.
Yep. And I don't care what anybody says. I like the blood fat bills guy. It's in my stuff a little bit anyways.
Well,
there's fat bill blood back in my dogs. Fat bill
like
stomper.
When you see it, once you get a chance to like see the motherfuckers and be around them, and you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Man,
I seen one at this last ADBA show I went to. He had, I think, Donald there.
And Donald is a motherfucking nice ass dog, bro. A very smart, intelligent dog that you can trust to. He kind of watch him sometimes, but Bill, Donald can go outside amongst the other dogs that's on the chain and be cool.
Yep.
And Donald throwing some nice ass dogs, man. I seen them dogs, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hard Finish bred the Donald.
Okay.
Or he might have bred I think he might have did bred the Donald.
Yep.
And
I like them.
And dogs. I think Hardy Dog PA bred the Donald.
So I got a little male off of Jarvis to Vixen that looks like my Thor dog, and it favors Donald a lot too. Like, they're kind of like, you know what I mean? It's that old look, that black with the white up the face look. I love that. I love that look. That was what my first dog looked like. Black seal color with the white up his face, white on his chest, white feet.
Yeah, That's still a cheat code. It shine harder than any other color. It like got a
Yeah.
natural. It got a natural shine to it. Why
So it's a cheat code, but at the same time, like genetics, people like scientists and shit, they don't even understand nothing about it. How it can reproduce, which way it'll go when it does reproduce, towards black or towards red. They don't understand that. So like that's a section of science that we don't really have an understanding on. But I mainly believe it's because like people that are breeding the dogs, you know what I mean? They're not giving none of these colleges or anything any type of research to study on. Like if we did that,
Oh
it might
yeah.
would make it might would give us a more understanding of our own breed if a lot of people did that.
Boy,
Started
Trump find
recording.
out. Trump find out we did that. He gonna defund the shit out them colleges.
Uh,
I fuck with Trump.
yep.
He gonna be like, what they do with them damn dogs?
Yep.
Man, this damn Faye is getting up on the goddamn. I'm finna put ass on this spring post. So dude, leave me the fuck alone.
Yep.
But yeah,
But yeah,
I'm
so like that's one thing that we need to do a little more research on, stuff like that, because like everybody acts like we know everything about color. No, we don't. You can research it, and science will tell you right now. No, we don't. So, like, that's just one thing. I mean, we just need to do more research. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Why the fuck do we gotta know everything all the time? We don't even know shit about the ocean, and we've lived on the earth for how long?
man.
I mean, we know more about space than we do the ocean. And
I
I've
do
been in
see
oceans.
and some of them seal dogs, you stare at them long enough, and you see
Yeah,
that
they either
red
got a
under.
red or a tan tint. One
Yeah,
of the two.
she got that red. I'm
Yep.
like, that's probably from that old family red nose coming in there. But
Yep.
what was I finna say? Yeah, when I breed her, uh, I'm gonna try my hardest to keep as many puppies as I can.
Yeah.
And the only reason, and then look, the only reason I'm selling any other pups. Listen, the
Truth
only
Boy
reason,
said there is no space, brothers. Oh
the
yeah.
only reason I'm selling any of the pups so I can buy an engagement ring.
Yeah.
So none of the profit of the pups is coming to me. I ain't getting a dime. I'm buying an engagement ring, and I'm trying to keep the best females and replace this man biter that get on my nerves. But my girl dog, boy, he get on my nerves so goddamn. This nigga got a. It's like as soon as I moved up here, he got a free goddamn college ride to Harvard.
Yep. Oh yeah. Nah, shit. I mean, like I say, if you put the pedigree right together, and a lot of show her off a bunch, show off what she can do. People buy them dogs. They 100% will. I like Faye. She's badass, pretty, built right, always healthy. I mean, what much more? All the other picky shit people has. What much more can you ask from a guy? Producing dogs. His bitch looks good. His puppies look good. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Shit.
A healthy puppy.
Let's see.
I just seen hella people buy dogs, and them motherfuckers just waste away.
Bando for life. What's up, bro? Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of us want to get dogs to these guys that are out here on the internet and stuff. But, like, I can tell you where the less problems is just people wanting a great dog. You know what I mean? They just want a good dog. You might have to help them house it for a week or something, if they have to move or some shit like that. But you want dogs anyways. What's the matter? You gotta be willing to help a little bit of people out. That's one thing I will not stress enough. I've taken Kaiser before and conditioned him for like 6 weeks and shit, just to do it, just to get him in different hands, for
What's the longest you held a puppy for somebody that was coming to get one?
It just depends on the situation. Like I held one puppy back in the day, didn't even get her ears cropped or nothing, and then the guy completely bailed out on me. So like, that sucked, you know, because I would have definitely cut her ears. I had the money to do it. He just didn't want them cut, and then he didn't even end up getting it. You know, that kind of pissed me off. But then, uh, I've talked to guys and held them for like 3 weeks longer and shit. Like I'm gonna hold a couple of these puppies a little longer so that the other puppies can grow old enough to go too. You know what I mean? That way they ain't got to make multiple trips up here.
You ever held a puppy for 4 months for somebody?
If I was holding one for that long, the least you're gonna do is pay for its food. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy the bag and feed it only itself out of that bag of food. If I'm gonna have to hold it for that long, hell, it's already gonna love me more, and it might even end up loving you.
Right.
Because I ain't gonna not mess with it. You know what I mean? If somebody's getting it, I'm gonna mess with them, make them where they're do anything for people. So,
Yeah.
like most of the time when you come get a puppy from me, they know how to sit. They're usually pretty well house trained. Like because of the whelping kennel situations I use, just they got the house. That's where I feed them. So they got a dog house, right? That's where I feed them at the first few times. They'll just use the bathroom, and then I clean the shavings up and stuff that's in the doghouse. But when they get to where they go out, when I see them outside of the doghouse for the first time, I put the food out there and I set them out and make them, and they'll go to it. You know what I mean? And then, because they'll eat, and then they'll find somewhere to use the bathroom. I block off the door, so they have to poop out there. When I see that they're all done pooping, I'll open the door back up, and they'll go in there and go to sleep. So by doing that, from the time they're 4 weeks old till they're 6 weeks old, they already understand. Don't poop where I sleep. Like you'll get them and put them in a crate, and they usually will hold the bathroom pretty good. You know what I mean?
Well, since that's part of your repertoire, you gotta let them know that that's what you're gonna do with the dogs. And
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That's worth a look. That's worth an extra couple more dollars.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie to you, bro. If I came to that, let's say you charged me $500 for the puppy, right?
Yeah.
And you came to me and I was like, man, I'm gonna need another month. Here goes $60-$75 for some dog food. I'll be up there in a month, and I pull up, and he like, man, this motherfucker know how to sit, stay, and know not to poop in the house. I'm gonna feel inclined to go in my pocket and pull out.
Depending on who it is and what they plan on doing with it, you know, that I know if they're going to take it to dog shows, I'll already have it on the email and stuff. I do that with my puppies. I put them on it when they're real little and let them kind of get used to it. When I see that they're kind of used to it, I don't even do it until they're older. Like my Dirty Girl puppies just ran for the first time the other day, and they did it just like they were puppies. You know what I'm saying? Like they never not did it. I introduced it one good time, took them away from it in that part of their life where they would be a little scared of things. As they're growing up and maturing, I don't care what anybody says. You as a young man, right? As you grow up and mature, you had a little bit of fear about certain things, didn't you? You know what I mean? And like it wasn't nothing you could do. You just kind of had to mentally overcome it yourself, right? But like that puppy, you cannot show them that during that stage of their life, and you'll skip that. You know what I mean? They just start doing it. Bam, bam, bam. At least with my dogs.
Yeah, that's how I get
Yeah.
it. No,
So,
you put that motherfucker on the
Truth Boy
email?
said-
Hell yeah.
Truth Boy said $500 for a pup is extremely cheap. That was just an example. That ain't how much.
That was an example. That was an example, but would you mind going on in depth for the time? We really ain't got to, because I paid $500 for Faye, and I got her and I bought her in 2020. So, and that was in the middle of the pandemic. So if you could factor that in. And he held her for me for 4
Cadillac
months.
Rose dog, I paid like it was $19.95, right? I ain't gonna tell people what I paid, but I paid like, if you know what the price of a Garner pup was in $19.95, that's what I paid for it. And she was sporting dog registered and everything, a fucking beast. But like, I mean, it depends on where you're at in this circle, right? If you're new to the circle, good luck finding cheap pups. If you're in here for a few years, do you know how many dogs I've been given for free? You know what I mean? Like I didn't pay a dime for them.
Yeah, it depends on that circle. You ain't lying.
Do you know how many people has got dogs from me for free because they're my friend?
I mean, like let's say somebody just come in the chat right now. You got the puppies up there. Woo, woo, woo. Let's say you got 3 available.
Yep.
And let's say they, people want them, but then somebody else come up here and they like, nah, I got some more bread.
Mm-hmm.
We can't stop them from overbidding for the dog now.
Yep. Well, and so like, if the only way you can stop that, right, is I have a buyer's agreement and you can send a deposit. If you send me, if we agree on a price and you just send me a deposit, if somebody comes with twice the amount of money, I'm not gonna take it. You have your puppy. You know what I mean? I will not take it. I don't care. You've done got it. It's you paid for it. I wouldn't backstep on nobody because somebody else offered me more money. I will say that if we sign a buyer's agreement and everything, and you send a deposit, that is your puppy no matter what. You know what I mean? Unless it passes away, I'll give you another one. You
Now,
know?
now look, let me. Now this my math on how much I should sell the puppies for.
Mm-hmm.
So now this just how I think. I factor in how much I pay for Faye. I ain't even gonna care talk about the years of me keeping her healthy and woo
Uh
woo.
huh.
I paid $500 for her. I take into account how much this stuff he finna cost and
Mm-hmm.
and what type of dog I'm breeding her to. And that I might add them together and that might be the price of the puppies.
Yeah.
That's the stuff he might be 750. All right, the puppy's 1,200. The stub he might be 500. The puppy's 1,000. Dude might just want two puppies back. Man, I sell them motherfuckers $900, bro. Like
Now, so what happens if you only throw two or three?
I'm keeping them
Yeah. Okay. See, that's my move too.
because that's
If I only got a
my
couple, I'm keeping them.
my before even trying to sell a puppy,
Mm-hmm.
my mind is on trying to keep the ones I'm trying to keep. And
Uh.
then I want to play with the puppies. I want to see if I can
Yep.
do some training with these motherfuckers. It ain't like they just gonna be in the basement, getting cleaned and fed, and I put their ass back in the basement and take
Yeah.
some
In a
pictures of them
crate
and
in the
put them.
corner.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I ain't that type of individual.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers gonna be outside with me in the backyard, playing with me, running around. You know,
Yep.
I ain't no peddler. I'm trying to make a better dog than Faye, and Faye a
Like
good dog.
I've got a little bit like a big round area in my front right here in my driveway. It's kind of like a round driveway, like you could almost loop through, but the loop ain't finished.
Right.
For some reason they didn't never finish it, but I'm gonna finish it. You'll be able to pull a complete circle to this bitch. So, but I got a dumpster up here where I've been remodeling the house. I tore all the shit out and threw it in that dumpster and stuff. I've actually paid for two of them. That's how much shit I've taken out of this house. It was a it was like a time capsule from about 5 years ago where my papa lived here. He just left. He had a brain tumor and he just and come and lived with us.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's like a time capsule. It's
How long
untouched.
he live? How long he live with the brain tumor when he came to stay with y'all?
How long have I what?
How long did he live after he came to stay with y'all?
Oh, he's still alive.
Oh,
He's got
okay,
his own
good. That's
apartment now.
good.
Yeah,
God,
yeah, he's
God is
got his own
good to him.
apartment now. Yeah, yeah, he was. He had full brain surgery. They removed the tumor and everything. Um, a lot of people blames that on the paper mill that's right here next to us that shut down recently. So I guess in 50 years we'll see if people ain't getting brain tumors. We'll know that that was it.
Nah, in Chicago where I grew up at, it was a factory right there, and all the older ladies and stuff,
Yep,
they start having the same type of, you know what I'm saying?
yep. It was
And
causing
yeah,
that shit.
hell yeah.
Yep. So like it was like a time capsule up here. So like I just remodeled the whole place. Like it looks totally different than when I was a kid and stuff. So like when that gets moved out of here, they're supposed to come either sometime today or Monday to get it. So I'm gonna start letting the puppies out in that front area because I've never even had a dog down there or nothing. They ain't been a dog here for 15 years. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let them run around in that front area. They already have their vaccinations and shit. They've been wormed. I'm about to worm them again because it's 6 weeks. So I'm gonna let them run around and stuff, and that's when I'm really gonna get the videos of them. They're big enough to. I mean, I don't care if people get my pups at 6 weeks, but if I have to keep them till 8 weeks and say you pay a deposit, I'm not gonna charge you for them 2 weeks at all. You know what I mean? And like if we didn't agree on me to,
Right. I
there's an episode of me reading it off, the whole buyer's
Yeah, I remember the
agreement.
episode. You went
Yeah,
real in depth, and then I understand in today's time why the price goes up. The dogs are worth
yeah,
the price. I will never argue whether the puppy is worth the price you're asking for because you could have some of the greatest dogs behind this puppy.
yep,
Some of the
yep,
most outstanding dogs behind this puppy, and you know, I'm not gonna argue that. You know what I'm saying? But you do got people who don't charge that much.
I've never had anybody argue my price, right? If you tell me you're driving from far away, I'll hook you up. You know what I mean? Because I don't drive. So, like, if you're gonna come to me and get it, hell, you know what I mean. Depending on where you're coming from, I'll shoot you a price according to that. That's why when most people ask me about a puppy, I say, "Where are you located?" before I even say a price, because you know what I mean. I'll give you a little bit of a better deal if you're driving to me. Like, I got some boys coming from Texas, a couple coming from Orlando. I mean, I got a few people coming Illinois. So I mean, they're coming from a little far. So I've hooked them up. If you're in my neighborhood, you ain't getting hooked up
Yeah.
unless you're my brother or my cousin or something. Like my best friend, our best friend growing up, like me and my little brother. One of them, his name was Dalton, and he's got an inbred son of Mason, and he's big and he's a tank.
Yeah.
He's a tank. He's an inside dog. So, like, you know, he's a big dog. He's still in good shape, but he's a monster. I was like, wow. So let's see. Truth Boy said, let's see.
He said I sold only a few
pups in 20
puppies.
years. Yeah, you read better.
He said I only sold a few puppies 20 years, each pup for $4K for a male only, no females for sale. I will hold it an extra month for free because they're paying good money and it's real deal, man. I mean, shit, I can't,
Yep.
shit. When a person is you know, as long as the person ain't arguing your price and, you know, get what you ask for, shit. Man, I done heard stories about people paying some change for some animals.
Yep.
Shit. You go outside the breed. I mean, you go outside the breed. Ain't no telling what these people out here paying for these other breed of dogs.
Yeah. Shit, I know of a pit bull terrier sold for $70,000. I seen him with my own eyes. Like, I know for a fact that's what he paid for him. So, I don't know. Like, people don't realize sometimes the price of these dogs is even more than these other breeds. If you're getting one, you know, with accolades, a real bulldog that you can, you know, move into the future with. Like,
right.
There's breeders that buys fucking legends, you know what I mean? To try to mass produce that, you know, try to get the monopoly on what that dog was. It's kind of hard, you know what I mean? Nobody will ever have just a monopoly on game dogs, but nobody will ever give up trying either.
Hell no, shit.
Yeah. And I mean, that's almost what makes us as game as our dogs. Like, we ain't gonna give up. We ain't gonna quit trying. Heartache, failure, it don't matter. That's why I tattooed this shit on my chest, bro, just to be honest with you. Like, and it hurt. I didn't let no professional do it. I let my cousin do it, and that shit hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I earned it. So, to be able to sit there to get this big of a tattoo done, I was like, shit. It says Freemason Bloodline with two bulldogs facing each other and my logo on my chest. And, like, I'm not willing to stop now. You know what I mean? Like, I have to keep going. I have to push it forward. Like, people will love them. Like, if they would actually get these dogs in their hands, people would love these fucking dogs. Ask anybody that owns one.
Yeah, if that's what they heart was set on, having a dog, you know, some people heart be set on some other shit sometimes.
Yeah, they want this specific thing more than just having a good dog, you know?
Yeah, they want. I mean, now, if you want this specific thing, then there are people out there that feel as though they can accommodate you. So I guess when you looking for certain shit, then that price go up. So if I want a specific something and I want it to be this, and I pay that $4K.
An example, right? I get my dogs go to quite a few hog hunters and shit, right? The reason I'm confident I can sell them puppies and them end up doing what I think they're gonna do is because the mass majority of these dogs are head dogs, and that's that you want them on the ear, you want them on the the side of the head. That's where they're the safest at as far as hog hunting. So like these boys have been very happy with everything I've sold them. So like moving forward, I mean, I know that I can usually produce a quality enough animal to do what they needed to do. I'm
Right.
not trying to say I'm not gonna be like with one of them old breeders and be like I got the best dogs on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's you think you got the best till something comes out of the woods, and then
All
you're
right,
like,
look.
oh shit.
I feel some big. I done paid 1,200 for a dog, and I done paid
Mm-hmm.
900 for a dog.
Yep.
Neither one of the dogs worked out.
Yep.
Now, what the person told, I didn't argue the price. He told me what the
Mm-hmm.
price was. I was like, "This is what you want?" Like, fine. Dog ain't work out. I didn't go back to him and ask like, "All right, this pup ain't work out. Can I get a
Yeah.
different price on the
Yep.
next one?" I just kept it moving and went to the next breeder and shit. He had found out, and he was like, "Damn, why don't you come back and get another one?" I'm like, "Well, shit, the next person over here ain't charging shit. I paid 500 for one, and it's better than the one I paid to 1,200 for. So I mean, I ain't talk bad about you or nothing. You feel me? I
Yeah.
just ain't come fuck with you. You found out through the grapevine that the
Yeah.
dog ain't work out. You feel me? Never contacted you. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
So, one thing I can say with most people, like if you contact me and tell me the dog didn't work out for what you wanted to do, I'm gonna be like, bring it back, and I'll send you with another one. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, we'll try three, and if you don't like any of the damn three, then I don't know what hell, we'll have to figure something out after that. Cause
Well, shit, you
I
got
don't
people
know.
out there that'll sell you a dog for like 2,500, and if it don't work out, you got to spend another 2,500.
Yep. Yeah. No, I ain't gonna do that to people. Like, like I say, when I die, ain't nobody gonna be like, all he did was care about the money. There ain't nobody ever gonna be able to say that shit about me. Like, cause
Well,
I don't care.
yeah. I could tell you don't care about
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of people out there like that, and I be just trying to stay.
Yep.
I just be trying to stay away from them.
I'll be honest with you. So a lot of that, the reason they like that is because they started this hustle, planning on the hustle to keep itself up. That is the farthest from the truth. This is a this is a work of love that you only do if you love this shit, right? Because it costs money, it costs time, it costs heartache. Uh, you're gonna feel some success, but the success feels like 15 seconds of fame, and the heartache feels like it lasts 6 months. That's the best way to put it. The fame seems short lived, whereas the heartache seems like you never just get over that. You know what I mean? I lost Creature almost 5 years ago, I think, and I still never fucking got over it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that
I
is a
loved
nice
that dog.
ass dog name, and I am using that dog
Yeah.
name on a dog on this little boy. I always want to name a
Yep.
dog Creature.
Yeah, and it fit him, dude. He's a big red and white dog, big huge motherfucker. Like he's Mason to the sissy stuff, so like it fit him. He was a Creature. I only had one, you know what I mean? And she had two puppies, and I sold one to my good, like an older guy that was friends with my parents. You know what I mean? I sold him to him because I would watch him grow up, and because I wanted to pay for his ear cropping. And the local lady that could get their ears cropped for him was charging me fucking like 3 times what it actually cost. So I had to pay that, and I didn't know it at the time. But now I know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah. So like, so he died of parvo at 11 months old. And like, if I showed you a picture, you'd have never thought that dog was even before like younger than 11 months old. He died September 27th, and he would have turned a year old October 16th. Damn bulldogs get going over these cats. I got 2 male cats. They make my dogs raise
Three
hell.
out of 8 I have were given to me. Here you go, the point.
Yeah, yeah. If that's the thing about it, right? So the money that you pay, you're paying to play right there. That's it. You know what I mean? Once you spend that, you're in the game. That money is irrelevant. Like you really don't treat it. You don't treat one dog because you paid $1,200 for it better than you do the one you paid $300 for. You just don't. They're all the same. You know what I mean? You kind of forget it once you're in it for a little while. You kind of forget about that money. Shit, I got like. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got like $8,800 in my female bullet. You know what I mean? Like my inside dog. Like, but she's good enough to live inside. That's the only reason she lives inside. If she did anything, her ass would be right out here with the rest of them. You know what I mean? So like, it ain't got to do with the money. It's got to do with her like being trustworthy in the house. She don't chew on nothing. None of that shit. She's really good. So that's the only reason she's in my house. Mason, when he gets a little bit older, he's gonna come in my house with
Right.
her. But he's not. I mean, he still digs and shit. I don't want to take him away from digging and playing in the dirt and all that stuff. That keeps him young. Being around these young dogs, breeding these little young bitches and shit like that keeps him young. I swear it does. Like
Yeah, you
it keeps
motherfucking
him
Hugh
young.
Hefner.
Yeah, he's the Hugh Hefner up here.
Oh, then
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to say. So I had got Faye when she was 4 months. So she ain't know me. She was on the farmland. It wasn't nothing but Malawas and fucking her parents and grandparents and great grandparents on the yard. So she ain't know me. She really ain't. I got her. She was shaky and shit. She threw up in the costumes I got her. So she ain't know when she see people.
So there was Malawas on the yard where she lived.
Oh yeah, dude breed and train Malawas too.
Okay. And you weren't
So
worried about him being mixed up at all?
no, he had the Malawas
Yeah.
he had the Malawas lined up to the east in a straight line
Yeah.
and kennels, and then he had the Bulldogs and like bro, I swear to God, it was like, and he was short and cocky as fuck. He was like a short ass Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
The
where he
dude
had
was?
the Bulldogs at, he had like a man. It was like a double kennel with a walk path in it, and you had to go underneath this bar. And to the left and to the right, grandma, grandpa, dad, mama. He had this big ass Camelot dog.
So it's a
Big
kennel
ass.
run.
Yeah, he had the kennel run. So he had them
Okay.
over there, and them over there.
Hell yeah.
So Faye,
Okay.
she when she see like new people and shit, she gotta check you out and shit. She not like really outgoing and cool, So that really deterred me from really want to like take her to confirmation shows and shit. Maybe she'll be cool
So
being around
you
all the
ought
other
to try
dogs.
it once, right?
No, I still was
Because
gonna try it, but this is my
sometimes
reason
they
for.
act different at home than they do at them shows for some reason.
Man,
I've
look, I
seen
took her to
dogs.
Mike Dan
It's
crib to
wild.
breed to JD, and she was acting great.
Okay, then
You know what I'm
how
saying?
many dogs he got up there? Quite a few.
No, he had just had two. He had
Okay, well, I
JD
mean,
and Morgan.
you're standing right there next to him, right? If she acts cool like that, there's basically just dogs on leashes, at the dog show. So they really do focus more on the other dogs, and it seems like they just act great. Most dogs do, you know what I mean? Especially if you're coaching them and stuff. I've seen a couple act a little funny, but that's just you got to think a lot of factors into that when you're seeing that day at the dog show. It's hard to take one to a dog show and be like, well, you didn't act good at all there, but then, not breed it because of that or something. Nah, that's
Right.
You can get puppies that act totally different than them.
Yeah, so I was trying to.
They don't always do that. So
I ain't want to breed it to like no super aggressive freak or nothing like that. I just wanted to breed it to because then they would have probably been slick aggressive towards people.
Yeah.
So I wanted to breed it to some cool, laid back, and something pure. And it happened to be underneath my nose. And he cool, he laid back, he chill. You know what I'm saying? And then them puppies, I can get them puppies socialized quick and then just take off. Fun show, puppy show, and try and make me an ADBA champion.
Yeah. I mean, like, a lot of people try to downplay shows and stuff, but man, it's a lot of fun. Meeting people with like-minded, and I mean, you'll even see people you don't like. There's been several times I've ran into people I didn't like. So
why would they downplay a show if we got records of fucking champions and grand champions being in shows?
Yeah. I've never understood that neither. And like, they're not being showed because of that. They're just at a dog show. You know what I mean?
And
like,
they fucking in shape, built.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the? And you know what? I thought about it when 2025 hit, and I was like, it's so easy to get off track and get on some hating shit, or listen to somebody crying about some bullshit that ain't got shit to do with the focus of the plan is, and I'm like, I can't do that this year.
Yep. So it's easy for people to get a mindset in their head and think that that's the only way something's supposed to be. That is one thing I've noticed big time. And I mean, I've been around long enough. Like, I was in the dog community as my original name way before I got, ever come up with elevated kennels. So, like, I've seen motherfuckers come and go. And like, I've seen some of these guys that, they're legends. They've been around forever. Shit, I've been researching dogs since I was like 13. I ain't never heard of you. So, and I'm 27. So, that's 14 years of me just straight researching pedigrees and shit. That, like, I ain't never heard of some of these people that come out of woodworks, and that's fine. I love that type of person. You know what I mean? But some of them will come out like, you're supposed to know who I am. Like, no, you're not. Describe to me who you are, man. Like, I don't know. I need to know some of your dogs and stuff. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, motherfuckers. A lot of motherfuckers be acting like they goddamn it supposed to be goddamn it Al
Maurice
Capone,
Carver.
Suge Knight,
Yeah.
this shit, and we just supposed to follow they word and how the shit go on. I'd be like, man, fuck that.
Well, like, I mean, when people figure out about me, I'm not a follower. I don't like trends. I don't get on them. You know what I mean? Usually, like, okay, here's an example. The show Yellowstone. Everybody and their brother told me I needed to watch Yellowstone, so I didn't watch it forever, right? Until I was just like, hell, I'm gonna click on an episode one day. You know, I didn't even think about they told me to watch this. I just kind of watched it on my own time, on accord, and it was a really good ass show. And I could relate a lot of shit they dealt with in that to my dog, actually. So it's a pretty good show. I don't know. Same way with Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of that shit, but then I watched it and I was like, nah, that's a pretty good show, actually. It took me a couple episodes to get into shit too.
Yeah. A lot of I was watching Sons of Anarchy in the joint. That shit was decent.
Yeah, it's a good ass show. If you like that shit, go check out the Mayans. That show is awesome. It's the Hispanic culture. Yeah, it's the Hispanic culture bike scene. They're down towards Mexico. Man, I fucking love it. It's a good ass show. And I've been to Mexico. Like, I love it down there. So it was cool to watch it.
I ain't never been to Mexico.
It's a cool place.
I got my passport. I need to start. Oh, sweet. Now I got shit up.
Yep. I mean, I've seen bulldogs in Mexico, right? I went down there. I seen bulldogs down there. So, like, I don't know. I'm new to YouTube. I'll say that. I'm new to YouTube. My Facebook been around for a minute, but I'm new to YouTube. I will admit that. Like, I'm having to learn about all this shit and the way people are, and, you know, some of the terms they use, like coming in your chat being like, we live, you know what I mean? Like that. When I first seen it, it's kind of like the first time I heard somebody call a bulldog a hound. I thought they was hating on that dude's dog, calling it a hound looking fucking dog, is what I thought. In my area,
it's just they English.
Yeah. Well, in my area, we don't call them hounds because there's so many actual hounds around here. Like, them hound guys are gonna put you in check really fast. That ain't no fucking hound. You know what I mean? So we don't call them hounds here. They're bulldogs here. And so the first time I heard it, I was like, man, he hating, and that's hilarious. Like, but he wasn't hating. Yeah. He was serious. And kind of like that. I don't know. The hate has been kind of what's pushed me all these years. If you look back on my Facebook posts and all this shit that I've ever posted, all the hate, I've just kept going because, like, you ain't gonna stop me. Like, take away papers, dog shows, all this shit. You still ain't gonna stop me. Like, you can't. The only way you're gonna stop me is sneak up here on this hill. See if you can steal my dogs and shit. That's a good luck. Good luck with that. Cause, like, you know how you talked about, like, the way Faye is about checking people out and shit. My dogs are super friendly, but I'll see some guys that, like, they have to check them out. And okay, so here's a different example, right? So I met this guy at a dog show, and he's like tatted from head to toe. Like, he was shirtless when he come out because it's hot, and when he come out, and he was tatted from head to toe, like everywhere, fingers, whole top of his head and shit. And like, you know, most people be like, that's a rough guy, you know, I wouldn't really trust him. But I was like, what's up, man? You know, for just some reason. And like, we started talking and shit, and he stood there, and like, eventually he was petting Haywood. And I looked over and he was petting Haywood, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, Haywood just had to recognize that you're a real motherfucker. I guess that's what it was, because he does not let people do that. Reach in his dog box and shit. I was like, wow. So, like, my dogs fill people out and shit.
Smell you and be like, all right, you straight.
Yeah, and like, well, like, my gut instinct told me he was straight. You know what I mean? And then Haywood acted like that towards him. I'm like, nah, this guy's straight up. I can just tell. Like, and for some reason, that type of person that most people would usually hate on typically gravitate towards me. Like, we're always friends. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm tatted for my both fucking arms, knuckles, behind my ears, my chest, my legs. Like, I mean, I'm tatted up. So I guess I don't really think about it that way. But I guess maybe that's why I kind of fit in with them a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thing people like. I love culture, and it don't matter if it's Hispanic culture, any of these cultures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. It's cool. It's the uniqueness of it is what makes me want to go places. That's why I've even kept traveling. I get to try their food. I get to meet their people and to different people and talk to them and like even bargain and shit. Like, we went to a little booth and bought a bunch of shit in Mexico, and he was wanting like $60-something for these sunglasses. And I was like, I told my little brother, I said, offer him 30. And he was like, no, I can't do that because he was young. I was like, no, offer him 30. He'll probably take it. And he walked up. He said, will you take 30 for these? He said, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? I was like, see, you can barter with them a little bit. That's different from here in Mexico. Everything ain't see, like a lot of these tourists, they'll go down there and they think they'll see it on these things like that price is that price, and in some places it might be, but in most of the places you can be like, shit, will you take this much? And they're like, yep, because they didn't pay that much for it. They're just trying to make a living, so they're going to stack a little bit on extra that, especially for tourists. Shit, tourists need sunglasses. These sunglasses are about to have a $60 price tag on them. On a $15 pair of sunglasses. Yeah, I know it is. I seen it with my own eyes. Like them braiding hair, right? They'll do it for free for each other, right? But then they charge you $175 to braid a 6-year-old little girl's hair.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I swear to God, I seen it. My little sisters both had their hair braided. Like, and they were 4 and 6. And it was $175 a piece. I was like, good God.
It's that they go back to that circle shit.
Yep. They're just
trying to. Goddamn it. The guy that charged you $3,000 for that puppy gave it to me. Gave me that Little Maid for $600 because I'm in a circle.
Yeah. And then it's okay. I've had the backwards instance of where I've paid more than anybody for a dog out of a litter. You know what I mean? So I've also paid, say, $2,000 for a dog, and the breeder hit me up 6 months later. Hey, would you want to buy this female? The one I was already interested in. I tried my best the day I was there. Would have gave her, $2,000 for it. Hit me up and said, would you want this one for $1,000? I'm like, that's the one I wanted to begin with. No, I don't, because the one I picked better is prettier. So, like, I don't know. Like, I've seen every instance you can think of in these dogs just about.
You know what? I had picked the one I didn't pick Faith. I had picked a Brenner one, a bigger Brenner one.
Okay.
But that motherfucker wasn't left, and then he went and picked her for me. But I am not mad that he picked that damn dog for me.
Yeah.
I think from now on, if I was to ever go get another dog, I would not pick it.
Yep. So I've picked dogs for people that have ended up working out really good for them, like really good. Then be way happier, and it not the one they wanted. And he'd be like, "Nah, you need this one." Like, cause a couple of my buddies gave me that free rein. They're like, "If you're going to look," because they know how I've been picking good dogs since I was fucking 6-7 years old. You know what I mean? Like I picked. Last part. Look back exactly. I picked Panic, and she ended up killing her mama. Like, she fought her twice and fucked her up both times, and ended up killing her a second time. But and I mean, Dixie was a bad bitch. So like and then it's went on from that. You know what I mean? Just different dogs doing different things. Like I've had a really good act for picking dogs. So they gave me that free range. And I was like, and my other buddy that went with me, he picked whatever he wanted and didn't get the one I said he should have got. And he ended up not as happy with it, and it ended up going to a pet home. You know what I mean? Let it mature. Maybe he'll end up doing something and he has to come back. That's kind of the mindset we had about it because we talked about it. So, but then the two that I picked were fucking beasts. You know what I mean? Both of them were savages. So it's like, I knew the blood that we were getting. That's what I say. Like, people think I'm kind of like being an asshole when I say I can tell you about your dogs. You know what I mean? But you really can't hardly tell me about mine. It's because I've had a lot of different dogs. Like, I gave away fucking $3,000-$4,000 worth of dogs in a month's time. I bought them, didn't like what I seen, so I was like, nah, here you go. Go over here, and you succeed over here, and they have.
Now, have you ever heard about any breeders, historical breeders,
Hmm.
that nobody has ever complained about a dog that they got from them?
I've never heard nobody complain about Maurice Carver's dogs. The only thing that I hear today about people complaining about it is his pedigrees wasn't true. But all them men back in the day that had the dogs didn't give two shits. They just wanted the dog for Maurice. Maurice was going to give them a dog that worked. You know what I mean?
What
So,
about Floyd?
uh, people are usually really happy dealing with Floyd. I've never heard anybody be like, he screwed me or nothing. You know, Floyd's straight up gentleman. Country gentleman. That's what he is. Southern man. So he's straight
Uh,
up. Like, I've heard people complain about, let's say Tant, because some of his papers they claim wasn't true, but they still like the dogs. The people
okay.
that was getting the dogs in the time were super happy. So like, it's only us now that are causing the problems with these papers. Oh, this ain't true, and that ain't true, and this ain't true, and that ain't true. It almost makes me think half you motherfuckers saying this shit ain't true is a bunch of liars. Really. Really,
Well,
because
and
ain't no
then
way
it,
every dog in history has a fake pedigree. If
and
that's the
then
truth, why do we even keep them?
to a certain extent, it really don't matter if you're going way back.
Yep.
You going back into the motherfucking early 2000s and shit. That shit don't matter, man. The
Yep.
dogs, it don't matter, bro.
So
The dogs
LeQuentin,
good.
LeQuentin said something that I am definitely stealing when I talk about Floyd from now on. He's a Louisiana legend. Yes, he is. And I've met him a couple times and shook his hand. He's a straight up guy. Straight up guy. So like I've signed papers for witnesses at his yard before. Like they get the puppy and I'm the witness. Like the ADBA has papers where I've signed them, but I don't even have a dog registered to them. So, I mean, like, I think when some people try to insult me like I haven't been around, I think they just don't understand. Really, like I've been around. I've been traveling. I've been doing this shit way before I got on YouTube. I just thought that like some of my experiences and the mindset as I listen to some of these videos and stuff, I feel like I've experienced things a little different. So like each side of the story needs to be told. Like the story shouldn't just be told one-sided. And I'm talking about the bulldogs. Like, why do we keep pedigrees? Because as we do it, the longer we do it, the more true these pedigrees get. Say they do have the lies back in the day. The longer you do it, the truer they get. What's wrong with that? That's what the old guys did. And like, he said, I met him also and have went to his yard and got hounds from him. Yeah, they're phenomenal, ain't they? Like, I've seen some of them dogs. They were nice dogs. So
Yeah. Now, what about what's that one kennel? Something coast kennels that
I
had
don't know.
that barracuda blood or something like that.
I don't know.
Any of the kennels that used to run like that Mayday and Barracuda, Central Coast Kennels. Have you ever heard of you heard of them?
Where I wonder where they're located.
I don't know where they located now.
Now, some of these guys I haven't heard of. You know what I mean? They might have been around for a long time, but I mean, if they're not in somewhat similar area, like where I could travel, I've not really like Mexico dogs. We'll give an example. I don't know much about their pedigrees and shit. And who the main breeders down there is and stuff. I would love to know, but like there's a language barrier a little bit. So even if I hear the names a few times in Spanish names, I have to hear them quite a few times before I can remember them. Like there's a dog named Negro Tomosa, and I love that dog name. Like I've heard it a few times though, so I can remember it. I don't know. Like it's just, I'll go look into them. Are they on Facebook or like where do you find their stuff at? Is there a website?
Well, I'm going based off of conversations that I heard years prior off of YouTube, and I think Central Coast might have had a YouTube. I don't know if they might still be in business or not. I think they had a. Tony Salute.
There's some badass guys that were in the dogs on YouTube and stuff when I first got into it that you don't even see their videos now and stuff like that. And like I mean, they might not be into the dogs anymore, but hell, them videos were good and they're still relevant and stuff. You know what I mean? I used to just watch yard tour videos just to see the different ways people had them set up and kept.
Right.
Like, that shit always intrigued me. Like, Mountain Man's was totally different than Rod Kirshner. Rod Kirshner was totally different than Crenshaw. You know what I mean? But they all had the same end goal. Keeping all these dogs such different ways, but they have the same end goal. If I had to say my yard is like any breeder's, it's probably Crenshaw's as far as the way it's laid out, like on the hill and shit. Or Mountain Man's, I guess. But mine's got a bunch of trees in between the dogs, where his was just a clear field. Mine's got a bunch of trees. But they're on about the same grade. If you watch that video where they're standing at the top of the hill and shining the camera down the bank, that's about how steep mine is.
Oh, okay, bet.
And he had it hooked up, dude. His chain spots were dug out flat on that hill. That was sick. And I don't know if he hand dug them or like Traco dug them or if the dogs did that. It's looking like the dogs did that because I just put mine on up here. I didn't dig or nothing. And as time goes on over this last, 6-8 months, they flattened it out a lot. Like, I think 2-3 years, their chain spots will be completely flat. Especially with me like digging around and stuff, moving stuff and all that, cleaning up the poop and stuff like that. Like, every once in a while, I'll just take and dig out a little hole, and it'll kind of, it's kind of made itself flatter. Whereas they were on a hill. Like, water don't set in my chain spots at all up here. And I'm thankful.
That shit rolled downhill.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. Like, that was one problem I dealt with at my other yard. For years.
I always had if the yard was big, it was always a slope to it.
Yep. And, like, so, like, I'm going to put in some drainage and stuff when I get my chains to, like, the final places are going to be. I'm going to put in some drainage and stuff. That way the water from one chain don't run into the other and stuff like that.
Right.
That way, like, worming and stuff, it's a little bit less of a, you won't even have no issues at all. Like, just narrowing down variabilities. Like I say, I'll say that a bunch of times. Like, people might think that I repeat myself a little bit, but all these things are important when you're really owning dogs. Narrowing down variability. Even say you own one dog, you don't want her chewing up your PlayStation controller. You don't want her, doing this and that and this. So you narrow down the variability of letting her do that. You might put it up. You don't even mess with it then. Certain things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Big A's still in here.
He probably working.
Yeah, you real quiet, Big A.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good now.
What's happening?
Yeah. Hey, can't call it might spoil it, man.
Ooh, hey. Good job, Big A.
Hey, went and got my little daily workout in, man. And ran with the dog, about to work this dog out. And man, it's Saturday, man. Lone Wolf, what's happening? Welsh.
Yeah, they love in here, man. My bulldog brother.
Yeah, I got a lot going on in the background, so I just in the background, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just Supreme brought up some damn good questions. I'll say that.
Yeah. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, we can go till an hour 30.
Okay, that's a
That way
bit.
it's like an even number.
Tony. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So Rabbit Man said Triple J is a solid underrated breeder in Dogman. I wouldn't even consider him really underrated because like shit, I know his husbandry and I've seen his dogs for many, many years. So like to me, I wouldn't consider him underrated, but maybe to the community, yeah. He is a phenomenal breeder. His puppies look great. The way he has that barn set up where he can have the 2 litters, they're in like 8x8s that are, their own separate. That's sick. Like once they're whelped off the mama, that's cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So like he really is a phenomenal breeder. Triple J is, as far as being able to handle husbandry and all that stuff. top notch.
Oh yeah, I put them on the phenomenal breeder category too.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's what I was bringing up though. I've been around, see people come and go. He ain't
Mhm.
been around, but he ain't went nowhere. You know what I mean? Like he's had heartache, troubles, and but he's still around. Like he's staying true to what he loves. So I always will admire that.
Right. Yeah, man. Uh,
So look
man.
at this what LaQuinn got cooking up.
Yeah, what's up, LaQuinn?
He said
Yep.
932-682.
Yeah.
Would you be able to pull that pet up, Big A?
Nah, I can't. I can't today, man. Yeah, I can't do it. Today is one of them days elevated. I can't do it, but on Monday, yeah, I should be able to. Yeah. But yeah.
I like that. I like that. But LaQuinn got cooking up. Got that welcome out there with that yellow man at the front.
Hmm.
I really admire Yellow Man as a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I felt the way he was built. It was like that. Where that racehorse to get that racehorse build out of some Mayday dogs. I felt like it's an
Hmm.
accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, for real, man.
Yes, sir.
Salute to
There was some good
salute.
comments up here I missed.
Yeah, man. Salute to all the boys that be putting together the good dogs, man.
Hmm.
Not everybody just because you can do it, just because you can, breed or whatever, doesn't mean that your formula is the right formula. Everybody has their own vision or whatnot, but some people really have what they like is it's unique, man. They set a standard, and it's beyond the dogs, man. So you either, some people got it and some people don't. I've
Yep.
seen people be in the game for years on end, and what they like doesn't necessarily like it's only a new unique people that really like that type of dog. But then you have somebody that just consistently. And yes, it goes with the dog and the genetics and the whole deal. And yes, the dog is everything is behind the dog, but some people have the eye to take the right dogs and put them together and consistently put together the best they can and produce out of certain dogs consistently. You see it all the time. And I say this about and it ain't just that. I'm gonna take it a little somewhere else real quick, man, because um, there's a thing about being a winner. You know, there's things like being a natural born winner, and some people in life just win. You can outwork them. You can have more talent. You can even have more skill, but
Yep.
they just win. You know what I'm saying? And if you think it's a game, just look at the winners that like that consistently win. Your Michael Jordans, your Kobe's, yeah. And Kobe put in. Yes, Kobe was the mom, but he put in all of those hours of doing extra training and all of that. But I know people that were doing the same thing and more just to try to make the team and still wouldn't start. Winners always win. So back to the dogs, man, some people really just have a talent, and over that talent and over the years they have honed it into a skill, and they just have an eye for it. You know what I'm saying? And they win. They just winners. You know what I'm saying? So salute to all the breeders that uh are the unique ones out there, man. The ones that we know about and the ones that we don't know about, because they out there. But
Yep.
you know, salute.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
Man.
pretty good. That was pretty good cook up right there.
start getting big
We're
enough to
all
start writing public
we're
speeches
all
from them.
making brownies, but some people's using Granny's recipe, and some people's using the sugar-free recipe from the dollar store.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like
Yeah.
I say, some people are real, just having a real knack and an eye for it, and
Yep.
it's beyond just the simplicity of the pedigree and the dogs, man. Some people really just got it like that. I'm not one of them. I'm not. So you know what I'm saying. But I
Well, and
see
I'll
it.
be honest with you, and this ain't bragging. If I
Hmm.
could throw my papers away and still produce good dogs, I genuinely
Hmm.
believe that. I would not need the
Yeah.
papers to keep it going.
Yeah, I know.
I just,
You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like shoot, J-Bo. You know what I'm saying? J-Bo say, man, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't fool with the papers. You know what I'm saying? People be telling me about my papers. You know what I'm saying? About my dogs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Having it like is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just have. You know what I'm saying? Some people just win. You know what I'm saying? Some
well,
people really having. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
how much of some of these older guys not really liking papers is because they can't put it in a database that they didn't have that option to where it
I
tells you
just think
what,
I think it's a generational thing,
yeah,
man. I just think, you know what I'm saying, at one point in time, technology uh changed the way that people view the dogs. And that's why, like when you can sit up there and get on these sites and go through the pedigrees and stuff like that. It's a lot of faultiness and stuff that could be put in there and all this other stuff. It's still good to look at, but like, man, I don't know. It's like GPS. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of for real. A lot of us,
don't get me
if you
started.
if you didn't have your phone, if you didn't have the GPS or whatnot, you can't. A lot of us couldn't get to work down there, and you
Yep.
drive it every day. So imagine taking that out, and now you got to read a roadmap.
Yes, sir.
How many people can read a roadmap? Now you go to these old schools, you know what I'm saying, that come from that generation. You pull out a roadmap, they'll run through that bad boy like it's nothing. I had a homeboy, man. I used to deliver mattresses for mattress firm, and uh, man, I jumped in there. I got my little trucker's navigation and all this stuff, and he like, man, you better put that away. We going off of zip codes today. What? What are you? What? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you start talking about these pedigrees and stuff like that and so on and so forth, man. You go back and to different eras, man. Like I know people that like just wrote down they pedigree. For
Yeah.
the from generation to generation, and that's all you gonna get
Yep.
if you want it. You know what I'm saying? But
And imagine going back to like Maurice Carver. You would have been
yeah,
perfectly happy with him writing you a handwritten pedigree. You'd have been like, hell yeah,
yeah,
this guy, everybody that owns a pit bull knows this man's name. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
like, you would have
Hmm.
been fine with it.
Yeah, and you
I
know what
know
I'm
I would have.
saying. And I'm not saying like a lot of people today could do it or are not doing it, but like just think about if we were to take technology out of the mix completely with these dogs, totally. You know what I'm saying? The pedigrees, no, nothing. you know um Everything that you have is written by hand from this day forward. How would you move forward? What would you produce? Are you gonna be feeling your way through the dark? Are you so dependent on this technology that you have to use these websites to get to this pedigree to run this stuff, man? Because I know a lot of people that and it's just an era thing. It's like a generational thing. You know what I'm saying? And it is, and then you get to the point to where technology kicks in and everybody has their number. Everybody had, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can, go through this, and there's people telling you about your pedigree.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, if you were to take all the technology out, you would take the GPS off of these dogs. How many of y'all have a real talent with these
yeah,
dogs?
yeah.
You know
That's
what I'm
what I
saying?
think.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it like, you know what I'm saying. I'm that guy, like I know this. So you know what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, I use that like, yes.
yeah,
But I'm just saying from a realistic standpoint. So when you start saying, you take the pedigree away and all this other stuff, man. Like, people like, like I said, J Bo, and there's plenty of other people. But like, I'm talking about like when I'm saying people, I mean like old schools that I
yeah,
specifically know. You know what I'm saying? That if you want some paperwork, you gonna get this what I wrote down, and you can see the last 7 generations on my yard right now. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? So like, I mean, that's just how they ran. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a generational thing, man, and I do sincerely believe like it's, you know, some people just really have that eye. Forget the pedigree. Some people really just, you know what I'm saying? They got that talent.
And when you
Salute to
go to their
them.
yard with them
Yeah,
7 generations of dogs right there, and if you that written pedigree, you're gonna shake his hand and keep it moving.
yeah,
yeah,
Just seeing that
yeah.
alone, look, seeing them generations on the yard alone
Hmm.
is way more astonishing than me pulling up to your yard. You got the mama and the puppies, and you hand me the
Yeah,
baby.
yep.
yeah.
That's why, honest to God, that's why I'm ready to see these first few people that's got these puppies come up in here. You know, because
Hmm.
I haven't had any like bulldog customers come up here yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cross a creek to get in my driveway, and then it's a little cabin in the woods, and up behind it's nothing but fucking bulldogs on the hill and shit. Like, I
Hmm.
am ready to kind of see the way people, perceive that. Because it is
Yeah.
old school as fuck. It's the old school as shit. I love living here.
Boy, I
Like, it
pull up to
reminds
your
me so
yard,
much of
see
my
that shit.
childhood.
I pull up to your yard, see that shit. I'm flaming up backwood, like, yeah.
You get out the car giggling like a girl, Supreme. I know it. You'd be like, "Oh shit!" You'd be like, "Uh oh, we about to work these dogs and shit." I know it.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be too. That shit. I love it when people comes up here and they work their dogs. I got all these options to do it with. It's fun as shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially like seeing
man.
somebody that's raised that dog and then they bring it up here and I do all this stuff with it and they're like, holy shit. Like I didn't even know
Mhm.
this dog could do all that. And they're kind of like I say, like hyped up in the energy. They like it almost gives them a sense of what I experienced as such a young kid. You know what I mean? And like I remember how that felt. It's never went away. Like it's never went
Mhm.
away. So
Yeah,
Last bite.
I just I don't know. I love introducing people to that shit. Really.
yeah, yeah,
When
It's
I
man.
die, that I'll be the
1:37, man.
bulldog man.
We gonna wrap this up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Big A. I appreciate y'all kicking it with Elevated and Supreme. Y'all had a good one today, man. I was in the background doing what I do, man. You know. Um,
Yes, sir.
hey, next weekend it is going down, man. It is going down. We got
What time though?
9:30 on a Saturday. Yes, sir. 9:30 on Saturday, man. We're gonna have that digital dog show. We're gonna have 3 free t-shirt giveaways. Hey, y'all bear with us, man, cause we juggling a whole bunch of game, man, and a whole bunch of jobs, man. So but we getting it to you, man. We're
Gonna
gonna
get the
do it the
shit
right
talking
way.
individual. That
We're gonna do hey, we're gonna do it the right way, man. And hey man, hey, salute to Toyo, man. I just gotta say, I can keep saying Toyo. That's my brother, man. You know.
it's a
But
brother.
anyway, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Big brother. Man.
Yes, sir, man. Toyo gonna be in the dog show. Elevated gonna be in the dog show.
Yep.
Supreme gonna be in the dog show. Shoot, man. Look. But dog of the week coming up, man. Last week, we had a little mix up and one of the dogs didn't make it. But I tell you what, man, that dog gonna make it this week, and we gonna do something special anyway. Later on this evening, about I want to say 6 o'clock. And drop one of the drama series. So y'all check that out. I'll get that queued up in about an hour or so, man. So y'all can check that out, man. But Elevator, where can they find you at, bro?
Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all over the Elevated Kennels.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
All
What you
my
got?
info, everything is on Facebook. It's
Yeah,
all
what
there.
you got coming up, man? You got some,
Uh,
the what's up with the journal?
so it's literally here, like it's literally here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to get my stickers made
Mm-hmm.
so that I can just fill orders. I
Mm-hmm.
have to get. I'm waiting on my plastic sheets to put them down in. I
Mm-hmm.
thought when they come from the place,
They will
I
come
swore
with
that
it.
guy. Yeah, I swore that guy
Yeah,
would have sent them.
nah,
But it's all
nah,
right.
man.
So I got them on the way from Amazon. I just ordered them yesterday, and I have the Prime,
Mhm.
so they'll be here. And then,
Yeah.
and I need for when people put in, I have a section. Make sure you click it. Do you want a black or a white sticker? Because if you don't, I'm just going to send you probably like one I have the more of. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
So. But if you
Yeah,
make sure you
man.
click that too, it's gonna have that link like me and you were talking where you can just click on it and fill the info out online. It'll go straight
Mhm.
to everything. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think people's really gonna like it.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. And I don't know, man. I don't know how y'all feel about it, man. But man, it'd be good even if you aren't necessarily into reading books and magazines and all that
Yeah.
stuff, man. It's good to build a dog library, man.
Yep.
It's good to have you a dog library, man. Just
Yep.
it
And
is what it
everything in my magazine, I did not write it. It's articles written about a person's dog from their perspective. You know what I mean? That's why it's called the
is.
Show Dog Journal. It's a journal for
Hmm.
everybody. The show, we're supposed to put all the stuff from our community in it, like all the wins. There's going to be more in it about the digital dog show and stuff. This next magazine, I've already started
Yeah,
writing on it. So,
yeah,
I mean, by that time, I might even be able to send out like 2 orders together. You can get first and
yeah,
second
yeah,
issues,
yeah,
bam. So,
yeah, man. That's what's up. Supreme, man. Where can they find you at, man? How the job going, bro?
Man, I'm in that motherfucker, and they want me to be Mr. Perfect, so I'm gonna give it to them. And
Mm-hmm.
y'all can catch me at church tomorrow.
Yeah, Roger that, man. Salute to that, man. Yes, sir. Salute to that. Yeah, man. But other than that, man, we about to get up out of here, man. I really appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this Saturday, man. But we out.
Yeah. Beat drop slow, head not flow. Blood don't lie, it's that old yellow line. Sack it from the south, Michonne on the rise. Boogeyman bark, leave a mark every time. We don't breathe for clout, we breathe for spine. DNA thick, can't clone this pride. That Shogun blood, yeah, the legends don't die. Started with Boogeyman, ghost in the chain. Locked in the game, never move for fame. Old mountain lions run deep in the flame. Socket brought the fire, Michonne brought the name. Then came Fat Boy, muscle in the frame. Man, hard, put respect on the name. Shotgun smooth, but the work insane. Sugar sweet jit, but a bite ain't tame. Kiki in the back, had a game in the veins. Gatorade heavy, ran it straight through the rain. Red ninja close, watch him work in the lane. Renegade rider can't hold that chain. Blood don't lie, it's that old yellow line. Socket from the south, Michonne on the rise. Boogeyman bark, leave a mark every time. We don't breed for clout, we breed for spine. DNA thick, can't clone this pride. That Shogun blood, yeah, the legends don't die. Ain't no luck, just grit and grind. Every dog here put work in time. Lady Rage got that fire in her eyes. Red alert taught us how to recognize signs. Blood heavy like a 2-ton chain. Everything proven, no need to explain. They asked what's in it, that yellow campaign. Built off real, we don't fake no strain. Second with the flame, Michonne lit the wick. If you know, then you know that line too slick. From the field to the show, every move so thick you can't blueprint this. It's the legacy pick. Blood don't lie, it's that old yellow line. Second from the south, Michonne on the rise. Boogeyman bark, leave a mark every time. We don't breed for clout, we breed for spine. DNA thick, can't clone this pride.
Shogun blood, yeah, the legends don't die.